I feel there's a lot of builders out there that do make the clients feel uncomfortable about asking questions. G'day guys, welcome back to another episode of Level Up. We are back in the shed for another cracking episode, and I'm actually pretty pumped. I've been looking forward to this one. It is a little bit of a shame because we did have two coming in, but the second half of this act is not feeling well at the moment, but we're still going to push on with the show. So today we've got an absolutely cracking one, not only for builders, but definitely for people that are thinking about building and renovating. So I'd like to give you a big warm welcome to Ande. How are you?
Yeah, I'm really good, thanks. Thanks for asking.
Ande is from Lady Lynne Grove, one of our recent projects. Andy's done a bit of everything that I've just been learning, bit of acting, bit of voice coaching to me just now. But is also very, very passionate about helping people, has a charity called Forget Me Not.
I do. Yes, I do. And I am passionate about helping people. You're exactly right.
Yeah, so we'll definitely I really want to get into that towards the end of the podcast because I think it's incredible what you're doing. But I love, we've had a couple of clients come on now and tell their story. And even just sitting here before we started recording, I've learned so much about you. But can you tell us a little bit of the journey? Because we had a great process with you, and I know we put a lot of time and effort into our processes, our systems to build great relationships. But you guys made it so easy.
Oh, thanks. Well, the feeling is mutual because boy, we didn't know what we were in for. We didn't know what we didn't know. We didn't know if this was the right process for us. We didn't know whether we should sell and try and buy something already completed. So just the journey to come on board of thinking, shall we renovate? Here we go. We don't know what we're doing. Let's jump in. That took about 2 years in itself to make the decision. So we bought 5 years ago a little Queenslander on top of short legs and thought, this has got potential. Are we going to be the ones to realise that, or what's going to happen? And a friend of ours said, don't be the sad people who have the drawings on the table when you've got an open house to sell your house. Own your own dream. So that kind of pushed us into thinking that this is the right decision for us. And then the looking around for different builders, we took word of mouth. We looked at other people's renovations. We looked at new builds. And we looked online a lot because that's kind of where the action is. We drove around a lot. The kids were saying, not again. Another few hours in the car driving. But then finally, the final word of mouth brought us to you guys, to D Pearce Constructions, and we thought, this feels good. This feels right. The quality of your work, the testimonials from other clients. And then finally, a mutual friend of ours had used you guys, and it just was kind of the icing on the cake. And then I read a little bit deeper about your backstory and knew that you had a connection to Nepal, which is where our charity works. And I thought, there it is. That's the final thing that got me over the line. I thought we've got some connection other than, timber, nails and a hammer.
I think that's really, and I've only just learnt that only just while we were chatting before we went live, and that's really blown me away because it's something that I do, and that's part of the reason I put myself out there so much on social media, because I do really believe that I think so many of the horror stories you hear from clients could be avoided by simply finding something they can connect with the builder. I think a lot of people make a lot of decisions based on a referral from someone or a bottom, a lot of it's to do with the bottom figure on a piece of paper. But it's blown me away that you had been sort of looking at us, thinking about us, but the thing that made the final decision was you saw that I'd been to Everest and hung out in the villages and things, which is where you do a lot of charity work.
Yeah, I thought we'd walked on some of the same parts of the earth. It's got to be worth something. It's got to be, more than just, this is the rough price. This is the, what we do. Yeah. It just gave it that little bit of extra something. I thought, we've obviously had similar kinds of thoughts about being better, helping people, wanting to do something more. So Kate and I both decided it's D Pearce for us.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? Because even I assume most people do, but even Camille and I, if we go and buy anything, we buy a piece of furniture, we buy a car. For us, it is a lot about connection. If we walk into a shop and the guy's blank face, no personality, just pushing to make a sale, even if we like it, 9 times out of 10 we'll leave.
You're exactly right. Same for us, yeah. I have bought things of high value because their cat has the same name cat as mine, and I can hang my hat on something good and it feels right. I'm always looking for little serendipitous kind of moments in life, and I think that's about trusting your instincts somehow, and it's certainly played true for our connection, which is great.
Yeah, because if you can connect with someone more personally, it means that the build becomes more of an experience. You're not just it's not just a build, hey, we're doing this, can you choose this, can you sign this? You can have, like, we've had some great conversations at our weekly meetings.
Yeah, sure,
which have been a lot more personal than just talking about the building. So like, it blew me away when one of your daughters is, I forget how old she is, but she's talking
just
about,
turning 11 actually next week.
About trading in shares and all types of things. So yeah, making it a lot more personal, it means I feel that it lets everyone relax a bit, makes decisions a lot easier. And ultimately, I really think it helps keep it more professional as well. Like, it's not just all, hey, we're building your project, you've got to pay this, bloody sign this piece of paperwork. Like, it adds a lot of value.
Yeah, I mean, there's more. I think there's more to it than process. I mean, at the end of the day, you're having a connected relationship for 2 years plus, from the planning through to the pack process we went through. So there's a lot of pre-meetings and things, and all that time you're finding your feet, you're finding ways to connect, and you're really developing a friendship with each other and, trusting what you can deliver, how you're expecting me to respond as a client, how I'm expecting you to deliver on your, promise and your style. And I think then as you step through, all those things do happen. The sign here, check this, can you pop over for that? Those things just become part of the process. The real process is the developing an ongoing relationship, which has really worked out really well for us.
Sorry to interrupt, guys, but we've got to thank our sponsors, because without them, we can't keep delivering you this incredible podcast. So massive shout out to D Pearce Constructions, Quotees, Live Life Build, and 44 Gallon Films. Make sure you go and check those guys out, support them so that we can keep delivering you this incredible podcast. Like, I'm just sitting here thinking about it as we're talking, like, you would have had to scroll back quite a way to see when I went to Nepal, because that's come out probably close to 5, maybe even 6 years ago now. So that's something else that I really try and push the message out there, and I've learnt by putting myself out there on social media. It's like, people might try and do something and they'll do it for a few weeks, maybe in a few months, and they're not getting any returns out of it. Like, it's a long-term game. And like, that proves it, because you would have had to scroll back a long way, in my feed.
We like a good look. I mean, we really made the decision based on finding that. We figure everyone leaves a social impact somewhere. People make statements about things, and then we like to follow people's journeys. People inspire me with what they dream, and then watching those dreams unfold, little ones and big ones. And watching you was really turning a corner that 3 and 4 years ago about your mission to change the building industry, about your mission to make it better so builders can be better, your investment into mental health. All of those things ring true with the things that I believe in. And, finding those little connections way back in your feed, I thought, this is great. This guy's going somewhere. And look at, I've watched your evolution, the way you talk to people, your podcast coming on board, sharing more than just, hammers and nails. You're sharing personal connections with people about, why you connect, how you connect, looking at the Trademark boys and the way they're doing stuff. I just thought this is a really great connection. Yeah. And
I think it actually goes both ways. Like, we are pretty picky and choosy with our clients. Like we did a job for a mutual friend of yours, which had said, hey, these guys, we've passed on your details, might get in touch and things. And then it was very early on in one of our first couple of meetings that I found, I'd already been told by the mutual friend that you'd do some charity work, and then I know we had some more conversations about it. And for me, that was a good sign from the beginning that it was going to be a good relationship as well, because like, Camille and I are very passionate about it. My other business partner, Amelia, like, we really enjoy helping people. So I think getting those personal connections, and not only it means you can have a good relationship and you've got something you can talk about through the bill, but you have similar values.
I think that's where it's at. That's where the magic happens. I can say things that I know I'm feeling free to talk about, and it's something's going to connect with you, because I've seen you grow and deliver in your podcasts and so on as we've moved forward. So values, aligning values, and it's more than just the a play on words. It's true. What do you think values and motivates your life? It's funny where you get inspiration from. Here I am, as CEO of a charity, and you're running a building business that's fantastic, and I feel quite inspired by you and your commitment to communication, your commitment to doing what you say you're going to do and follow through. That inspires me, and that's the kind of way I bring that inspiration through to my teams in the countries that I work in. So
that's awesome.
It's funny where you get your inspo from, really.
I really think it's amazing. I honestly think, look, not just builders, I think so many just people in life in general could really find their focus, change their path, find some direction, like, if they took that sort of thing a bit more seriously.
I agree
Like,
wholeheartedly. Yeah.
so many, and look, I know I probably was going down the wrong track for a long time, where it was probably more, and I think it goes right back to like school and how we're brought up, and then family background, all those sorts of things. But everything really started to change for me when I stopped chasing the dollar.
Right. Yeah.
And made it more personal. And then things really started to take off. But so back to the renovation, because I think you've got
That's why we're here. Right.
Well, we're here for everything. I think you've got so much value to add to my whole community that listens. But I do want to I really want to help homeowners have better experiences. And a lot of it is going to come from builders running better businesses and being more personal and having systems, processes, all those types of things. But you guys nailed it from the beginning. I'm not sure, like, what sort of, did you do homework? What sort of homework did you do?
No, but I will say I'm married to a lawyer. Kate's a lawyer. So, lawyers are all about, processes and systems and, finding facts and so forth. So, and whatever we commit to, we too tend to jump in wholeheartedly, have a good look around, make sure that we're doing the best we can do to get the best outcome selfishly for us. We want to make sure we're doing the right thing. So the homework was big. What do you do? How do you do it? Do you deliver on time? What's the defects like? What's the ongoing work like? And looking into that just made us know that we've done enough homework. We felt sure for all of the insecurities to start with, having the first thought, oh my God, we're going to renovate. What's going to happen? I don't know the first thing. I can't hang up a picture. Literally, it's not my thing at all. I can write you a nice poem. It's not my skill set. So feeling brave enough to jump in, I had to find somewhere that I felt like I'm in safe hands here. And then when you send us an email, I want to respond. I want to make sure that you know what I want, that I know that I'm going to deliver to you on this particular time, or it's going to take 2 more days. But the magic sprinkling above it all, I think, is communication. Yeah. Saying what you feel, being brave enough to say what you feel, and listening to the response, and, working through, you say there's only solutions. The world is built on solutions. That's how we move forward. It's true. Let's work towards a solution on something. There's a plan B, a plan C, keeping plan A in mind, always trying to focus back to what you wanted in the first place. And I think communication is the magic. I really do. Yeah. And then you put it on email. You can go back to check, because who knows after 2.5 years what you said you wanted or didn't want, or where. We've gone back over emails thinking, did we decide on that? Where did that go? How did that go? And we've got a trail about it. So we know, where the outcome finally lay, because we communicated well about things.
And it doesn't have to be that hard to do, does it? Like, it's not hard to follow up a conversation or send we say we do meeting minutes, but like, as you would know, like after the meetings, like a lot of the time it was dot points. Like,
completely, yes.
It was just simple dot points.
And then we would add 1 or 2 and you'd add 1 or 2, and then we've got a complete set of our meeting. Yeah. And it worked really easily. It was a two-way street. It was certainly a two-way street. Anything that we suggested, you took on board and unpacked. You told us why it was a good idea or not a good idea, always keeping in mind that this was what we wanted and trying to work towards our solution, which was really great, because at the end of the day, we didn't really know what we wanted. We said, we want to build this up big, I want more space, want some light. You're like, okay.
Well, a lot of that, so Kate and Andrew's job was with Aaron. We do a lot of work with Aaron, as you know, if you listen all the time. And Aaron's one of the guys that we do the pack process. So you guys come through our pack process, pay as a consultant. I am definitely a firm believer that whatever that fee is that a builder charge for the pack process, like, you get it back tenfold.
Oh, value for money, totally. And
like, I actually had this conversation with a client we're working through a pack process with at the moment, and it's almost always the same on every job. Like, you do this full circle, and so many, I think, like, obviously our industry is led by a lot of big companies that pump the money into marketing. So, and you basically buy a house off the shelf. Oh, you go to this display home, or you go to this website, you pick this design, and this is the price, and we'll see you when we hand the keys over at the end of the job. And I don't believe that's that suits a certain market, but the pack process, and probably more so with renovations, like, you have to do that circle. You have to start the design process, fill out design brief, everyone puts their wish list in, and then really I take it quite seriously. Like, it's my job and Aaron's job as the consultants to guide you on what you see value in. Like, we're not here to tell you, hey, you've got to have this, or this is going to cost this much, or this is the way you need to do it. We're really here to say, righto, well, this is your wish list. We've got to get it to the drawings to a certain point so we can put the first figure on it.
Yep.
That first figure will more than likely not be correct, which I think in 17, 18 years, it's, I think, 2 or 3 jobs we've actually had. Yep, no
And
worries.
that doesn't mean on budget or off budget. It means this is what we wished for.
Yeah.
And this is what this looks like at this point.
Yeah, and then from there, like I tell everyone, to get the ultimate outcome, it's going to take 3 to 4 rounds of design and costing, because each round you're going to see value in different things. As a team, we're all going to learn. Myself as a builder is going to learn more about what you see value in. Like, and like, I'm trying to think of some examples on your job, because we did the process, we did change things around, but like, I guess probably one of the most common examples we see is pools or kitchens or something. Like, the client will say, oh, we love cooking, we entertain all the time. And so for the first round, the focus might be around that, the designs around that. But once you get a chance to put figures on that and they start to see, well, that kitchen, those appliances is going to cost X, like, holy dooly. Like, well, I don't want to spend X. I want to actually spend more money on the pool. So let's reduce that and put more money into the yard. Like, you've got to go through a process to learn, well, I believe, what you as a client see value in.
Correct. And you do know, but you need to have it teased out. You really need to have it teased out. One thing Aaron said to me at the start when I said I wanted a massive bath, he said, do you need a massive bath? I said, I do. And I haven't got out of that bath once. We've been in the house for 3 weeks.
That's a bit,
with that bath every night. So I want a massive bath. I got a massive bath. But, it's been a process. He saw that that's something I find pot plants in there and relaxation in there, and it's a happy place for me. So that's one thing. But, I don't need all of the luxe finishes on, my office and the upstairs smooth kind of touch-ups that happened upstairs. There's things that happened that just look incredible, but they weren't a painstaking decision because we value added in other places where we'll spend most of our time in that house. The pools come up beautifully, even though we didn't spend a lot of time and money on it. You guys spent a lot of time making it just lovely, but it wasn't the high value thing. I didn't need billions of dollars worth of excessive stuff and a water feature and a this and a that. I didn't need that.
That's probably a good example on your project, because originally we weren't doing the pool.
Not much at all. No, nothing. Yeah. A bit of new coping, I think.
Yeah, and then throughout the process and seeing how everything was going to fall into place and everything worked, so we ended up replacing all the coating, doing all the tiling around the pool, new glass pool fencing. So we wouldn't have got that outcome if we hadn't have gone through that process. And
you're exactly right.
Seen the value in things.
And it's now like we've got this seamless flow from the pool inside through the glass walls, all the way up through the new staircase into upstairs, which not a lot was done except refreshing painting. But the electricals have all been changed. The attention to tiny little details of matching skirting boards to the old 100-year-old house to the way it was, to my office, which is the old kitchen, which is a really kind of curious little space.
It came up so
it's beautiful. I go in there and I feel like I'm somewhere special. I spend obviously a lot of my life in there doing what I do, but I feel like it's a special place. I feel like it was made special.
And that, I remember there being conversations about, is this just going to look like a little tack on? Like, because your office is where the old stairs come up into where the old kitchen.
Correct. So it's got a little dinky kind of roof on it. And it's good. It's really beautiful. It's just the way it seamlessly flows. And then I look out and there's that pool down there, which looks like it's part of the house. It's like if you could, as a Lego piece, if you picked it up, it's all part of the whole thing. It's a seamless wonder. It's really amazing. Yeah.
And so what would your advice be for people that I guess are thinking about building or renovating? Because I know from everyone's in a rush when they first contact us.
Yeah. Everyone wants it done. Like, will we be in by next June?
Yeah.
No. And that was something I had to learn. This is a bit of a long game.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what you want. You kind of think you might, but you don't exactly know how it might unfold.
Yeah.
Building through COVID, as you know, was not probably the smartest thing to do, but here we are.
We made it.
We made it through, with things fluctuating in costs and whatnot. But I think Aaron said to me at the start, a lot of people go through a process and they end up with just plans that they never build because they never take that next step to make the decision. So I'm glad we did, but it is not something that will happen in 3, 4, 5 months. It's a process. Get a wish list, get that first round of drawings, decide what you don't and do like. You get your own butcher's paper out over the top and you change a few things, and then Aaron says, just stop drawing and tell me what you want. So we all learn and grow and change, but it is a long game. And then the other exciting thing happens when the temporary fencing goes up around your property. You think, ooh, it's happening. It's all going to happen. And then it's just really quite an exciting journey to go on with the builder, being connected, watching your inbox for emails, about decisions. That was an exciting thing for us as opposed to some kind of chore like, oh, I have to sit down and do that maybe on the weekend. Just do it now. We just did it every day. And at night, if we had decisions to make, we'd make them together. And just get that email back to you overnight so you had the work to do the next day or could order whatever it is that we needed. So it was about waiting, being patient, making sure you got all your ducks in the row, having everything you need ready, and then being sure that we're in the right hands. And away we went.
It was so it's funny. Andy just turned up, so and I took her through our home because we're in the shed down the backyard. But it's funny because so many people that contact us and even through Instagram or whatever it is, but they all think, oh, you're a builder, and they see our Instagram, and they're, oh, you must have an incredible home. But Andy's just saying we've been renovating for 2 years and walking
tiptoeing over blocks and set tiles.
We're nearly there, but we had a conversation while we were up in the house. And Camille was there as well. And Camille was just saying how it was such an enjoyable process, and Kate and Annie made it just really, really easy. And you said something up there which I haven't really thought of, and that was that you knew what you didn't want.
Correct.
And it was just this light bulb for me out there then, because and I think I said to you, once you find or you make a selection, just stop looking.
Stop looking, stop looking. That's the thing. Make a decision. We knew what we didn't like. You're exactly right. We thought, no, I don't like that, but I do like that, and I like that. And you put them together and you think, that's it. My decision is made. I'm not going to like anything more or less. Let's go with that. And I think being prepared was key in that. So we went to the places where you suggested, do we make bookings to go and look at tiles, up tiles and various other places. And we just knew that, your eyes drawn around the room to those particular splashback tiles or those particular floor tiles, and speaking with their consultants, you just married it all together and you start to get a real vision of what your home's going to look like. And it might not be what you first envisaged, but presented with all of the options.
Your place came together incredibly well, to a point where I'm not a huge fan of green, and your place came together.
What's wrong with you? I thought we were connected.
But I love that pale green that you chose for upstairs in the old house. I'm so torn between this. I love that colour so much, and Camille liked it as well. You just saw when you walked in, we've got this room that we're putting together to be a bit it was going to be called a saloon room with a little bit of a bar and a pool table and things. And so we've been saving all these old VJs from jobs for so long, and I love it. It's all this different colours.
It does look good, yeah.
And I'm thinking about painting that colour.
Ooh, 8th strength, Mr. Moss.
But
it does. It's fresh and soothing, and it's quite nice, isn't it?
But I think what you said about knowing what you don't want, I'm going to use that now when I'm trying to make decisions, because you everything in that house has come together so well. You didn't get any external help.
Nothing.
Did you?
No. Actually, there is one woman on Insta. Again, talk about a connection like Nepal or naming my cat. Therefore, I'll buy the couch because it's the same name. There's a lady on Insta called Little Nook. Shout out to Little Nook.
Yeah.
And our daughter's name is Anouk. So we was watching her, and we went to her and said, this vision board idea, what's the idea? She said, I can kind of help you through. It's kind of got a big ticket, but it's really just about what you like. And she came over with a few kind of ideas and said, this is what it means. Not necessarily these should be your colours, but this is what it means. Look at the colours you like, look at the textures you like, and then choose them. So she taught us what that meant. Yeah. And that was her input. And from there, we just thought, we're armed and dangerous. Now we know what we need, and we know what we don't like, and away we went.
And it worked.
It did work.
It is such a beautiful home. Everything works. The floors, the joinery, the colours, the plumbing fixtures. It all just come together so well. And one thing, I've got a bit of a soft spot for the renovations, especially the old Queenslanders. I just think they're
beautiful.
Straight from the day you walk in, they've got character, and you can feel something.
Yeah, for sure.
And the way that's blended into the new ground floor level, it just all flows so well. And I think, I guess, give us a little bit of an insight into how you made a final decision on Aaron, the designer, because it has to be a team effort, doesn't it?
It sure does, yeah. I think we were also watching Aaron's work beforehand and thinking, do we just choose this guy? Do we just choose this guy, or do we wait, or do we not invest in quality drawings, or do we just get a drafts person? Yeah. We had a couple of interviews with drafts craft persons, and one guy said, "Hope you like what you like because I don't need any more practice drawing." So I got one bite of this cherry. Ugh. And there was another older gent came along, and he was sitting on the couch, and our little girl Saskia was just over 3.5. You know what 3.5, 4-year-olds are like. And he was quite a proper old gent there, and he had his clutch pencil out, and he was doing notes and things, and she was climbing on the back of the couch and climbed over the back of him, and I thought, oh, I don't think this is going to work out. And anyway, he also dropped a few clangers, and I thought, no, that's not for me either. And then there was Aaron. He said, I do it this way. This is the package we offer this pack process, and there's certain builders that I work with. And then one of those is D Pearce. And then we've got this other hook that we're hanging on, and it just came together. Yeah. It's just like, just stop fighting it. Just let the decisions flow, I think was a better way to finally make a decision. Put your fingers on the keyboard and make a decision. Just stop overthinking.
We, like the designers and architects we choose to do work with, like one of the main reasons we'll work with them is because I see how they get out of the client they're not trying to draw something for themselves. They're actually trying to learn how the client lives, how you operate as a family, how you do guests over, family over, do people come and stay a few times a year, when they really find out about how you operate, even down to the types of hobbies you have and things, and because one of your big things was the home office.
Correct.
And that space and the whole way the house operates has all really come together because deep diving into how you operate as a home, as a business, as a family, all those types of things.
Yeah. Aaron was really good at talking us through those things. He said, how do you live in the house? That's what I'm here to learn, how you want to live. Considering how you live now and the challenges that you face. One of the things that we couldn't have people come and stay because the little Queenslander on top looks like a big house, but it's actually really small. Yeah. The kids were growing, and my mother's not good with stairs. So if she comes, she couldn't go downstairs or upstairs. So I needed something that came in from the bottom floor and she could still access amenities, bathrooms and bedrooms and so on. Enough space that when the girls grow, they can come and go as they needed. So this is like a 20, 30-year home for us. This is where we plan to stay, although who knows what could happen. But this is our plan. We want to future-proof, and so we could our family could grow with a house ready for us to grow in. And that's certainly what we've achieved through learning that process together. He understood what we wanted and put it together, and then the tweaks and the changes just made the whole thing fall into place. It was really great.
Yeah, no, the finished product definitely speaks for itself. So coming into it, obviously, so you found the connection, you've made the decision who you're going to go with. From everything you've heard, and there's a lot, current affair wouldn't have been live if it wasn't for builders. But what were some of your biggest concerns?
Okay, biggest concerns were, like I said at the very start, I didn't know what I didn't know. So I had to rely on the trust that I felt like we'd connected. My biggest concern was that something's going to take a longer time, especially in COVID times, than we thought, and we might end up in a rental property for 2 years instead of our planned 8, 12 months. So I was afraid of those kinds of blowouts. I was afraid that I was afraid about investing in a company that might fall over. You read all the horror stories about business going bust. You've just given them your draw 3 of $85,000 and it's paid all their debts and you're out. I was afraid of all those things. So feeling more secure about D Pearce Constructions and their ongoing work and the ethics that you kind of show as well as talk about, that made me feel secure. And I was also really concerned about, I think, how I would live in this new magnificent space. I'm used to cowering in 2 rooms. We're learning.
So with the first one there, what gave you confidence in the timing of the job?
I think because you have a schedule and you're really quite tight about that, I'm going to start here and this is our weekly process and we're going to kind of end here. And that's give or take, 8 to 10 days either side. It was really accurate. And, I'm a Virgo. I like things kind of accurate and by a timeline. And that made me feel really confident. And if things weren't going to happen on the week that was scheduled, you told us why. And when they are rescheduled, nothing was left loose and open. Just made me relax.
So, because I'm curious because when I meet you and we're going through the pack process, I have that folder on my iPad, Dream Project. So I showed you an example of a schedule. Yeah. But other than that, and me telling you this is our schedule, we have weekly meetings. What was it was it going back and following our social medias and seeing all of our other jobs running
Yep.
And
Watching. We watched them. We watched you do your little stories. We watched you do small podcasts. Was just starting then, but mostly it's about stories where you'd be on each job in various points of the day, and those stories would all accumulate at the end of a day or 2 days. And there you were, plodding through this. We could watch this house come to life. We could watch this house completely change. We could watch you have the most hellfire problems. Like trying to pour this massive driveway in the rain, and it was sludge and slop, and you pulled your hair up, and you said, I put a shout out, and then all these people came to help me. And I just thought, this is a man who's focused on getting it done. And despite the weather, and there was some pretty bad weather, despite the COVID barricades we came up against, despite all those things, we kept on track, just kept plodding along on track, and nothing was pushed aside. Nothing was too hard. Everything was solutions based. And I think that just made me feel like we could get this done. He's got it done before under very trying conditions. And people who probably clearly aren't as maybe committed to their communication as I am, we can do it.
Because I think Instagram's free.
I know. Amazing.
It does. I would love to do more of it. I don't. I don't get a lot of time to do it, but I'm really glad you said that, because that's how I feel. Like, I feel if I can just show a few little stories every now and then, and obviously Shay, we do the project updates and those sorts of things. The podcast has taken over a little bit from them, but I think you can show so much. I should have done some more voice warming before this. Kate was giving Andy was giving me a lesson, but you can show so much in a little 60-second video, because I know for a long time there, like I was doing stories saying, hey, I'm just about to meet these clients for our weekly meeting. I've got to discuss this with them. And then after the meeting, I'd say, oh, this has been happening on site, so I've just informed the client. And for me, that sort of stuff saves so many conversations.
Correct.
Because like you just confirmed for me, if clients are watching you, like I think
everyone's watching.
Yeah.
You're leaving a footprint and people are watching, and that's show, don't tell. And you're showing, you're walking around with the camera and you're pointing things in the back and you're saying, this was crap, but now look, you're just watching that. It's better than reading a report. I'm not into reading lots of stuff. I'm very visual. I love listening to people. I love it when you interviewed your clients on site. I love it when you interview some of your team here and there, and showed what you're made of. That to me just spoke volumes. So
for a free service, your Instagram, like I honestly can't believe more builders aren't putting themselves out there. And I feel like I would never pay someone to do it. Like I think for me, like you talked about with the connection, for me that's it. Like I don't want to pay a media or marketing company, me take photos, send them to them, then do my scheduling and photos and things, because it's
inauthentic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not expressing me or Camille or our business.
Yeah.
Like anyone can write a spiel about a picture or tell their clients they don't have any issues, or we do schedules on our jobs. But really, as a builder, I'm the only one that can go on site and demonstrate that.
Correct, yeah. The other thing that shone through in those stories, which I'll just touch on, is you've got this finished, beautiful product in the background that you and your team built. And there was a sense of pride there, like, look what we did. This is really cool. And it shows people the quality of the work. I mean, if you're selling something, you want to show this is how it worked and these were the processes that we took. Yeah. And I think people can relate to that. Like, I want me some of that. Yeah. I want that. I want that to be my product at the end. Yeah. Yeah, I want you to be proud of the product that you're delivering to me. Yeah. And I think as a client, that was worth a lot.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So so we were able to solve the things that you had concerns about they're just simple things, really, aren't they?
Yeah.
Like, I think scheduling. There's a lot of builders that don't do scheduling. I think it's like for us, it's really changed our business. It definitely allows us to be a lot more organised. But were you like a huge change to our business was the weekly site visits? Like I know
we look forward to it every Tuesday morning, 7:30. We thought, come on, let's go.
Oh, seriously, I'd turn up to site. And these guys were pumped like every week. Like, what do you got to show us? Let's get into it. Like, it was fantastic.
But getting access, Ian, it was just so exciting. And we kept saying every night, we'd say, just can't wait to get home. Really can't wait to get home. And, once the stick framing went up, it's like, get this vision of what it's going to be like. It was really super exciting. Yeah. And I tell you another thing is the neighbourhood around us. People are stopping us saying, wow, that place is like an anthill. It's like an anthill. It's like brrr, people are working all the time. Rain, hail or shine, you were there doing something. And then it got all shut up. They said, we can't see what's going on. What's happening in there, And then, the reveal, we could take photos. You let us, take photos and videos and do what we want. So we started our own Instagram to show our friends and family what was happening inside.
Lady Lynne Grove,
Lady
check it out.
Lynne Grove, yeah. She's a lovely old girl.
Are you keeping that going now that you're in there?
Yeah, we are. We've actually had a sign made for the front, and that's what we're going to call her. So.
Oh, that's awesome. We
Yeah.
need to. We've still got to get back there and do a final wrap up video on that one. But so like I like the weekly site meetings. I like not just like from a business point of view. Like it's just so easy knowing that the same time every week. That's where I'm going to be.
Absolutely.
Not, hey, can you meet this time? No, I can't. Like you can lose a day going back.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes those things have to happen. Can you meet, like, your head team would say, can you pop over for this particular thing? And we just check in that's okay. Pop in, check, that's fine. But that fixed time, we knew we were going to get to see stuff, which is exciting. But secondly, you could share any concerns aside from email of what you meant. This is what I meant by that. We could have a rethink about this little thing or that little thing. And we could make decisions together there and then on the spot, document them, minute them, done. So
but it was like, because it was like, it's such a simple thing, but like by having those meetings, the few little things that did get resolved through the job, like they're done, or you know about them and they're done by the next week.
Yep.
But from like, seriously, the excitement, like I just love turning up and seeing clients so pumped and excited to have a look around. And like there was at certain stages of the job, like I remember like meeting you at the front and saying, oh, look, there's not a lot to look at this week. And you'd be like, no, there is. There's heaps. Like, look, you've done that over there. You put that bit of timber on. Like,
that wasn't there last week. This has been delivered, Even that was exciting, seeing pallets of stuff in the front yard was even exciting. And then as things move forward, our daughters would go into their rooms, dance around and spin around, and we'd go through the site meeting, and they were excited to be there every week and watching their rooms grow and choosing who would be where. And it was an exciting minute. It really set us up for the day. We were always happy on Tuesdays when the site visit happened. Yeah,
I love it. I think I just have such an incredible job. Like Camille and I think we're pretty blessed, like to be able to deliver people something that changes their lives. Like, and it wasn't just you. Like, you're right. It was your girls. Like, seeing the excitement on their faces when
always exciting.
Like like the day they those window seats went in. They're like, oh, this is awesome. Like, we can stand on this. We can look out the window. And I freaked out because I thought they were going to drop it on their fingers. But
but then you told us we've done this. They've got a little recess. There's no smashing of fingers. That's good.
Yeah, it's so good just seeing it all come together. And it's a pleasure working for clients that are just so, I guess, just listen like that. I think that for us, that's and I think it's the type of clients we attract. Like everything, all the advice we give, like you guys you ran with it. There was a few things you come back, said, oh, look, no, we're going to do this here and we're going to do this here. But it was just very easy conversation, and it was absolute pleasure knowing that you guys were really taking everything on board that we said. It was all taken seriously, and it was just a pleasure to the whole job. Actually, we'll go back a little bit, because there was one, there was a situation at the fairly early in the job when we started excavating footings where we found asbestos in the ground.
Dun, dun. And, oh no, the poison word,
Yeah, and like it makes me feel sick in the stomach, because like I have my spiel, we do our pack process, we have this dream projects folder, and like I say to people, look, that it's a renovation, something may come up, and like things go really, really smooth, and then like just one phone call can make everyone very nervous.
Yes, not the word. Oh no, the word. I mean, we were all shocked by it. I mean, it's buried under footing you can't see, under old footings, under some old cement. So in a sludgy dig, what can you do?
So to give a little bit of background, we'd lifted the house, we'd done all the pier holes for all the new posts, we'd done all the plumbing under slab, like we'd done a lot of digging, and everything was fine. And then we started doing our slab prep and digging all the internal thickening beams, and hit asbestos. And it wasn't a huge amount, but these days, given how bad it is, it sort of had the potential to turn into a big deal. It did cost a little bit of money, but so what happened? The guys on site, they found the asbestos, they got it. So what happened? We'd put it. We hadn't seen it. Like, it was so small. It was literally, I think in the end it turned out to be about half a dozen pieces of size of 50-cent pieces. No one had actually spotted it. The waste had been loaded in the truck, and then when it had gone to the dump has cameras that view the trucks as they're going in, and someone watching the cameras had seen this bit of asbestos, like the size of a 50-cent piece, sitting on top
of a sludge load,
of this sludge in the back of a truck, and basically shut the dump down, rang us up, hey, no more material from that site can come here. Now we've got to go back and sieve this material that you've already dumped here. And it was
it wasn't fun.
It wasn't fun. It shut the site down for about a day and a half. We had to get an asbestos company in to sieve the area and then give us a certificate to say, hey, it's all good, and ended up costing few $1,000s.
But the good thing was no fine happened.
Yeah. So
that was the only lucky piece.
Yeah, there was potential that the dump was going to fine us, but because they didn't find any more, it was all good. But I'm always nervous about those conversations and situations. Like, did we handle that okay?
Look, you did handle it okay. I mean, I know that night on the couch, Kate and I were saying, but it's no one's fault.
Yeah.
Whoever the sucker was that buried it back in the day, who probably was unaware, although
back then
might have been just fill. It was little tiny pieces.
You used it every day of the week back then.
So look, you did handle it very well. You said, hey, you talk about we, because we did enter into a team relationship.
Yeah.
We've hit a problem and this is what it looks like. And I think the bravery in just telling it how it is. It wasn't sugar-coated, wasn't anything. It was, this is how it is. We'll take it step by step. We're waiting to see if they'll fine us. We're looking, fine-tooth comb through. There doesn't seem to be anything else. I think just the fact you're brave and say it how it is, and that's all you can do, is be authentic and tell it how it is, and then wait and see how your client responds. It's not your fault there was asbestos under our slab. It's not our fault there was asbestos under our slab. It's just the way it is, like you hit a boulder.
So for you,
that's the way it is.
For you as a client, so like I do warn people when in the early stages, like, look, I do say what I think. If I say it for because I'm educating you, take it or leave it, blah blah blah. But like on renovations, I'm always telling clients, look, we do the pack process, we investigate as much as we can, but there is some things that are just out of our control. And earthworks is generally where it happens. You hit an old septic tank or a grease trap. We've actually, yours turned out to be quite lucky. We're actually doing a job at the moment where we found it in the ground as well, and we've had to get a skip bin in, and we've half filled a skip bin. Like every time we touch a new bit of ground, and we're talking down 600-700 deep, we're finding it. So it's just something that comes up, but I feel it's my responsibility especially with older homes, to warn people right off the bat.
This may happen.
And do you think by doing that it sort of gave you a little bit of comfort? Or he knows he's telling us it might happen. He knows how he's going to handle it if it does happen.
I think the thing was what you just said there. I knew that it might happen. We always know it might happen, but feeling sure that you knew what to do because it did happen.
Yeah.
I don't have to deal with it. I don't have to know what to do. I don't have to deal with the dump. I don't have to know that all that's got to be put back and sieved through. I didn't have to know anything about that. I just had to know that this is the impact financially and this is what we're dealing with.
Yeah.
A bummer. As it is, it's a bummer, but there's nothing we can do about it. Just thankful that it's not bigger, that it's not more, and let's just keep going.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's it. Just you knew what to do. I didn't have to know what to do.
So knowing what you know now and going through the process, obviously there was a couple of little hiccups along the way like that. What advice, I guess, what's maybe 3 things for someone that's thinking about building or renovating? What's 3 things you would tell them to, I guess, not be nervous of, or maybe ask the builder?
Yeah, I think as a client, think about your worst case scenario and ask your builder, what would you do if this happened?
Yeah.
And see, that's, you had a process, found asbestos, what will we do? You did it. That was great. I think that's one thing. Don't be afraid to ask questions of your builder, and then stop talking. Let them talk. Let them tell you what the answer would be or how they would handle it, and then what your responsibility is in that process. That's probably the main thing. Ask questions.
Yeah.
That probably caps out all 3. The communication is key. Ask lots of questions, get lots of answers. If you're still not sure, ask more questions.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as dumb questions. A builder should be able to talk through the whole process from A to Z and tell you how they're going to manage it, how it's going to happen, where the hiccups might fall, and what would happen if those hiccups do happen to you.
Yeah.
Like we hit town water, we hit, I don't know, some underground city. What's going to happen, I'd cover a dinosaur. I mean, anything's possible, let's face it.
Something you just said then, there's no question's a dumb question. I do feel, even just from some of the questions we get through Instagram and stuff from other people building with other builders, I feel there's a lot of builders out there that do make the clients feel uncomfortable about asking questions. I feel like as builders, we probably, or some builders, and I think I did for a long time, we probably get a little bit complacent. We're doing the same thing every day. It doesn't mean anything to us. But I've really learnt that, yourselves, it's the first time.
Yeah.
I've got to make them feel comfortable. No question's a silly question. Ask what you want. Because I do it every day.
Yeah. The other thing you don't do is you don't talk in jargon. You keep it real. The language is real. I don't know what a gig is. I still don't know. But I got this beautiful house as a result.
Yeah.
I don't need to know all that stuff, and you keep it real. And if you do say something, I see you go, that means blah, blah, and the way that falls down to the side.
Yeah.
There might be a term for it, but I need to know that. You do.
Yeah.
So you keep it real in the language that you use for clients, and I think that's really important as well. Like you said, you get complacent because you do it every day, all day, every day. You talk in almost code to your team. And well, I don't know what that means, but they do. And then you can explain it to me in layman's terms, and that's really handy, or laywoman's terms in our case. Yeah.
So what's your favourite part? Now you're in there, you're loving it. What's the favourite?
Sick. Okay. I will admit that I've been sleeping on the couch downstairs because we got a new puppy. So I've slept on the couch a few nights, and the whole side of the wall is glass. And in the early morning, all I can see is palm trees and glass, and I feel really comfortable at home.
Yeah.
Equal first is the bath. Equal first is that bath. Man, it's gorgeous in there.
Yeah. I love it. Actually, one thing I'd like to touch on before we move on to some other stuff you're doing, because I did feel quite bad about it, like at the end there when you guys wanted to get in there.
Oh, yeah, where?
So, like in the end, like we're pretty strict on our processes and systems, and like I get it. Like it's at the end of the job, and every client wants to move in, and it was just I don't know. I'm not sure. I think we were waiting, in the end, we were waiting for the final certificate from the certifier or something. So there was actually like almost a 2-week period where the house was sitting there.
Yeah.
And you guys, we wouldn't let you move in. They'll give you the keys.
I think the final thing was that the bank said they'd paid the final payment.
Yeah.
And they showed us that they had, but they couldn't prove to us that they had.
Yeah, they said it was processed.
And they had some hiccup in their process. So
the guys had booked a removal truck for the Monday, and right up until late the Friday afternoon, I think it was my daughter's birthday, and like I'm at the birthday party, and the guys like, oh, can we please move in? We want to book our removals. And I'm like, oh, we haven't been paid. It's not in our account. And they sent me a message, and it's like from the bank, and it's being processed, and I'm like, oh, look, I'm so sorry, but like we've been told before that it's in process, and 3 months later we're still fighting for a payment. So like the reason I wanted to bring this up, like I felt horrible, but like it is important to stick to your processes.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we just thought, we've got friends coming to help us pack up little things. You know, we just said sayonara to the rental. We had afternoon tea, we had a nice time, we had a bit of a packing party, we just kind of waited. And we did reflect about, this is your process. We knew this was your process. We tried every which way, and we decided to blame the bank. So
it all fell into place.
It all fell into place perfectly. Truck turned up, money was in the bank, and it all went fine.
Yeah, so like I checked, Camille checked the bank account like early Monday morning. It hadn't cleared, but it was there, and we're like, look, it's sitting there. Go for your life.
Yeah,
and, it's all it all worked out. But I really want to get into what you do away from not just the process we've had building and renovating. You've got a charity called Forget Me Not.
Yeah.
And I take my hat off to you. Like I just think it's amazing. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. So Forget Me Not Australia is a charity that we started in 2005 by opening an orphanage for 6 little girls in Nepal. And through a young traveller friend, went travelling and visited a few orphanages and thought it was just hell, and thought maybe we could do this better. So he came back to Australia with this seed of an idea, and kind of pitched it to Kate, who was a newly emerged lawyer at the time, and his sister. They went through law together. And they wrote a constitution, made some community inquiries. Would anyone be interested in supporting this idea of a orphanage, starting an orphanage for girls who are particularly hard done by in a country like Nepal? Daughters are less valued than sons. And what with one thing and another, we had some community engagement, and I came on board then. I knew the young traveller, and was very much wrapped up in my community there in Hervey Bay, actually.
Yeah.
A bit further north. And we opened an orphanage a year and a half later after some fundraising for 6 tiny little girls between 4 and 6 years old. And over the years, that number grew from 4 to 6, 8, 10, 14, 18, 20. Finally had 20 little girls in an orphanage in Kathmandu that we were caring for with child sponsorship kind of model, doing all the right things, providing the best we could for them with committed sponsors.
Yeah.
And it was all running very, very smoothly. And then we were approached to fund this orphanage in Uganda for 39 starving children. And a lady who'd been helping them had been to World Food Bank and various other big charities saying, help, these children are starving. And no one would. So we put it out to our donors and sponsors to say, we're not going to detract from our Nepal works, but if you're keen or interested, can you help us support these children? So a lot of people threw their hat in the ring, jumped on board, and we sent a little tranche of money over there to get them going, a lot of communication. And then about 3 months, Kate and I decided we'd go to Uganda to just check out what's going on, help them get better established so we could help them better, because we can't just pour money in without them having, an organisation in place that could
sort of
account
structure
for the money, structure that the children were in school, all the right things were happening. Plus, of course, we're trustees for other people's money. In charity, you give me money with the hope that I can deliver on what you say. So we went there, and then we had another volunteer come with us, and she stayed on board. The children were doing better. They were better fed. But when we got there, they were really hungry. It's like, 39 little starving faces, big eyes, pot bellies, scantily clad, and, their tummies like watermelons. Boom, boom. And I thought, that's my turning point, really. Even though I was very committed to our Nepal project, at that point I thought, what am I doing? I looked at the sky and I thought, here I am, these kids are looking at me like I'm going to save them. I either get in deep and work it out, or I don't.
Yeah.
And I made that decision at that time that I'm going to do everything that I can to get these children fed, alive, and moving into their lives. And we left our volunteer there, and she put a forensic audit through their books, and then started picking away at the accounts and things. And man, opened a can.
Yeah.
It was all fault. The children had all been trafficked. They were moved from their families for the purpose of luring charities or individuals to fund them. Just a business model with children as the commodity.
You sent me a link, and I was blown away by that. I guess we're probably a little bit naive. I guess Australia's incredible country, opportunities, and if someone approached me and said, "Hey, I'm helping these kids out. Show me some pictures. If you give us a couple $100, we can do this, do that."
Yep.
I wouldn't think to ask or dig deeper.
No, because, who's not in love with the idea of sponsoring an orphan, supporting an orphan? It's like an altruistic thing. We were all kids once. We know what that could feel like to not have enough food or a parent or whatever.
So they, so the whole, it's not just kids in these countries, everybody's in a bad way. So you, correct me if I'm wrong. So you've got adults trafficking these kids to try and get money from
well-meaning people.
Yeah, well-meaning people, charities, governments, all these types of things that then take it for themselves, and the kids are still in the same situation.
Leaving the kids in the same, because that's the shop front. You don't want to sponsor a kid who's got, no pot belly and neat and dressed and looks like they've got it all. You're going to choose the kid that's in a more decrepit kind of condition.
Yeah.
So children are often used, in the majority of the cases, used as that front for the business model of child sponsorship. And it's not just in Uganda for us where we fell prey. It's, across the global south. It's through, Eastern European countries. It's everywhere. That child sponsorship model where children are kept in a residential orphanage condition is really not where it's happening.
Yeah.
The research shows us that 80 to 85% of kids in orphanages or children's homes aren't orphans, but they've got one or both parents alive who could care for their child if they were supported themselves. They're there as a purpose of profit.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, eh?
So the kids are just labelled as orphans for that transaction.
Yeah, I was watching that video, and we'll put a link to that video in the podcast so people can have a look. But it's an incredible mission that you have. I take my hat off to you. I think it's just absolutely amazing. And I'm not sure if it was in that video or something you were saying with me, but you've been able to rehome people that girls and that thought they had no mum and dad.
Correct. So those 39 kids, Kate came back as the lawyer. We had that orphanage shut down. We rescued the children, for want of a better word, worked with social workers and mentors and other organisations to find all of their families. It took some time to retrace their families and then work out how best to support that child at home. Now, of those children, of those 39 Ugandan children, there's still 12 under our care. Going through, we've got an engineer, and we've got a builder, we've got a mechanic, we've got a fashion designer, we've got two young midwives, and several of the littlest ones are still in that finishing grade 11 and 12 at school. So they're doing very well. And our donors, if we told the truth of what had happened, that first 30,000 did feed some of them, but, a lot of it was squandered. They stuck with us and said, go get them. So we thought you've picked the wrong organisation to deal with, because we expect transparency, we expect openness, and we're all learning. So if there's some incident or something, tell us and let's grow together. So once we came back from Uganda, we put that spotlight deeply on our Nepal project that had been thriving for 8 years, completely thriving for 8 years with donors. Our young founder won Queenslander of the Year runner-up, and we'd won accolades and all sorts of things for doing what we were doing. But then we discovered further through deep consultation with the children who were no longer 4 and 5, but 10, 11 and 12, that we went there, and one little girl particularly looked at me and said, Auntie, please, I want to go home. I want to go to my mother and father. I need to go. So she revealed her truth to us. And, when you've cupped a child's face for 8 years and you love them, they're on your Christmas tree, you've sold their image to your family, friends and community for sponsorship, it was time to tell these children's truth for them. So we did. And so after we again rescued them from the organisation we were partnered with to have the orphanage running, we removed them. And
so was a similar thing happening in Nepal?
Same thing was happening, unbeknownst to us. They all had birth and death certificates for parents.
Oh
they were all legitimate paper orphans. On paper, they were orphans, but not in reality.
So how do you trace that? Like, where do you even start?
So we partnered then with an organisation that are experts in family tracing. So our 20 little girls, 20 now women of 26 and 27, our 20 little girls all went home after 2 years of tracing, needle in a haystack. So they helped us put together their backgrounds. We have reintegration officers who trek day and night across the foothills. You've been to Nepal, through mountains, wild landscapes, landslides, what have you, trekking for day and night, searching for family, looking for traditional clothing that the children have described, dialects. Was there trucks and buses outside your door, or was it just mountains and valleys? And put those children's backgrounds back together and then return those children home, and now support those children at home so they don't need to be institutionalised, which research also shows us is extremely harmful for children. That started our whole organisational change. We now work across Nepal, India and Uganda doing similar work. We work particularly in Nepal as our flagship model with the government to change childcare and the way children are cared for in vulnerable situations in Nepal. You can no longer open an orphanage in Nepal as a result of some of our work, and you can't enter a child into an orphanage that does exist already because they're closing down. The downward spiral is happening. The government asks us to take groups of children into our transit home and return them when they find a decrepit orphanage. Our goal is no orphanages in Nepal by 2030. Where are we up to? We're on the way, Duayne. We're on the way, and
you've had a lot of success.
We've had some incredible success because we believed in children. We believed what they said, and there was nothing for me more satisfying than knowing that when we knocked on a door, there's a family that thinks their child's dead and gone because they've lost contact. Their child's name's been changed. They're illiterate. They can't trace. They don't have money to go to the city consistently to find their child. When we come knocking and seeing a father drop to his knees that we've found your little boy and having that child go home, there's days I sit at that desk and I just weep because it's good news. It's
I was definitely Camille and I were weeping watching your video. It blew me away. But you don't know what's going on.
You don't know. And people talk about, we should be doing things in our own community or working where we have. But you know what? We're all global citizens at some point. And we have incredible welfare structures here in this beautiful country of ours. And it's beyond our shores that sometimes can use some of our well-being in their lives. And I know myself, I sponsored one of those little girls in our orphanage in Nepal from all the way through. She's now a 26-year-old social worker and she's a powerhouse. She's amazing. It's because I invested in that child and knew that her family could do a better job raising her than my staff in an orphanage.
Yeah, it's very different situations, isn't it? Like I'm the same. Like I think we help our own backyard, but I keep coming back to like we're in Australia. Like we have so much opportunity. Everyone gets to go to school, and like really, I know there's kids out there that are brought up in terrible situations and home life. But everyone gets to an age where you have to make a decision.
Sure.
And a lot of these kids in third world countries, like they don't get to make decisions, and their families don't, because like you said, they're uneducated. They can't read and write.
They're faced with an incredible thing. Like someone comes through, a child trafficker will come through a village and say, if you give me a little bit of your cash, like sell a cow or sell the last bit of your land and your child, I'll take them to this home where they'll be educated by foreigners. Who doesn't want the best?
So the parents are trying to do the right thing.
They're trying to do the right thing. They want a better hope for their child, so they relinquish their child with a little bit of cash and the child and send them off with the traffickers. Sometimes 2 or 3 children from a village will go, and we might end up bringing 1 or 2 home. Sometimes all of them come home eventually, but they hope for the best. So they don't sell their children. They pay for their child to go and get a better education, and they're tricked. They sign a document they can't read with the press of a thumb as their signature, and their child slips into the orphanage business.
And then so the traffickers get a fee for each child.
Yep. They get about 1,500 AUD is the common kind of figure. Slip them into there with a false document, and that child is untraceable by family at least.
That's unbelievable. Look, I take my hat off for what you're doing. I think it's absolutely amazing. We'll drop some links if anyone wants to jump on board and sponsor you or find out more.
And we're tax deductible.
Yeah, look, I think it's a really, really valuable cause, and yeah, look, you never know. We're talking about some stuff. Hopefully we can do a lot more with you in the future when it comes to that type of thing.
Yeah,
but,
I hope so.
like, did you, like, a little, like, definitely getting away from the housing stuff now, but like, is that something that you thought you would ever be doing? Like, because you said at the start here that you were an actress for a while and you did some theatre and things. Like how's all this fallen into place?
It's funny, I think when doors get presented to you, no matter how scary they look, I think you owe yourself a peek inside, because that's where a great life can happen. And yes, I did do acting. I wanted to be a lady wrestler when I was about 7. Thought I had something special to offer. And on and on I went. I liked accounting. I liked a bit of this and a bit of that. I was a swimming instructor. I did all sorts of things, trying to find something that I loved. And, my degree is in communication and journalism. And so I've always loved to communicate with people. But I never thought that I would be the CEO of an international children's charity that really worked with and for children, about children, with a long-term goal of closing down orphanages and having children with families. I never thought that would be me.
Yeah.
I never thought that would be me, of course. I thought maybe, I don't know, it might be someone like Sandra Bullock. I don't know. I don't know who I thought I might be, but this is me now. And I certainly feel like I've had several lives in one. And, completing this house, I never thought I'd do that either. I was telling Camille when I first got here, a friend was leaving after morning tea the other day. We've got this new little kind of designer dog for the girls. I'm standing in front of our beautiful home there, and I was patting the dog, watching a fancy car drive away. Kind of had a surreal moment. I thought, well, this is my life now. You just never know. When you say yes to things and you open doors and you be a bit brave, I think great things.
Yeah, look, it's amazing. So do you do things, work on yourself now? Like, do you because I'd imagine having this charity business, like, it has opened up a lot of doors, but has it made you change habits that you may have had in the past, or been brought up, or ideas you were brought up with? And
look, we also, back in another life, we used to run a big health food store in Sydney, and that was about building business and having the right mindset. And I did some Anthony Robbins fire walks and some ice baths, and did all those kinds of things there about the power of thinking big and all those kinds of things. And as I went on and on in my life growing, one of the things that our chairman said to me is, he said, Andy, always be teachable, always be teachable. And another one of the mentors that works with our charity now and then, she says, always have a younger mentor and an older mentor, and find your inspiration from unexpected places. I think that's one of the things I said to you earlier. You just have to find inspiration. Little snippets make you grow. My daily practice is about probably thinking about how's my mind today? How am I feeling today? I've got the problems that I'm trying to solve. Can I face any of it? I'm big on mantras, so I'm often found calling out in the mirror things. Open the front door and yell out into the neighbourhood, here and there, morning, just saying my stuff.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I talk to myself in the mirror.
Yeah.
This is what you believe, this is what you do. Now go and do it.
Yeah.
If I've got a big interview or an interview on ABC or something like that, I talk about it and I talk to myself about it, and I say, this is what I think needs to happen. But the biggest thing I try and do is try and just be me, because I'm good enough.
Yeah.
And what I have to say is good.
That's really important, isn't it? You have to believe in yourself. Don't worry about other
back
people.
Yourself. Yeah. Absolutely. Ladbroke stole my tagline. But you have to back yourself. You have to. You completely have to.
Because a lot of time, no one else is going to give you a pat on the back.
No.
I think the fact that you stand in front of a mirror is frigging fantastic.
You got to hold your own hand and say it.
Yeah.
Say it. Yeah. I'm often telling I've got 2 older daughters as well, a 29 and 26-year-old daughter. And I say to them, tell yourself, go and stand there and tell yourself. We brush our little girl's hair and say, I'm great, I'm beautiful, I'm kind, I'm calm, I can do it. And then we, do a few karate kicks and out the door we go. I think it's one thing knowing those things in your mind, or you might read about it or see it on Instagram. But if you do it, it actually makes a difference. It lifts your spirit, sets your mindset for the day, and shake it out now and then. If you're feeling crap, just shake it out and take some breaths.
I imagine turning up over there now and seeing girls that you've put through charity and things like that, that would be a big driver.
incredible. That's incredible. That's never thought that would be my life. But, I've got, for want of a better word, 20 children or adult women now that look up to me, that form part of a really strong structure in my life globally. And they're amazing women. My team across the world are incredible people. Our organisation goes from strength to strength, but it's only as a result of people who can support us and who can see value in this work and join us on this achievable mission.
Yeah, because that 20 odd women now, like they're going to have an incredible impact on each of their groups.
Correct.
So it's just going to grow and grow and grow.
I mean, support one child in an orphanage, sure. But support one child going home, you support their siblings, their parents, you put them into livelihood opportunities, you solve some of their social problems, connect them to social services that they didn't even know existed. Better bang for your buck, bigger value delivery, and you're supporting the child all the way along to get through school and to get into where their hopes and dreams might come alive.
No, look, it's been an absolute pleasure having a chat to you. Thanks so much for being an incredible client. Go and check out Lady Lingrove. It's at Lady Lingrove on Instagram. And look, massive shout out for Forget Me Not. Like, go and support the guys. Get behind it. It's an incredible cause. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're killing it.
And same.
Well, I think we're going to have you back for a round two because I think, and we definitely need to get Kate here as well.
Yeah, when she's feeling well, she'll be here.
Yeah. All right, guys. Hope you've liked it. Another cracking episode. Look forward to seeing you on the next one. Cheers.
Are you ready to build smarter, live better, and enjoy life? Then head over to livelikebuild.com/elevate to get started.
Everything discussed during the Level Up podcast with me, Duayne Pearce, is based solely on my own personal experiences and those experiences of my guests. The information, opinions, and recommendations presented in this podcast are for general information only, and any reliance on the information provided in this podcast is done at your own risk. We recommend that you obtain your own professional advice in respect to the topics discussed during this podcast.